Good evening. It's another edition of My Journey on GBC News with me, Beatrice Senaju. In many African cultures, including Ghana, women are sometimes accused of being witches. When unfortunate things happen, they are sometimes maltreated and neglected by family when they lose their husbands. And this continues in this 21st century with some inhumane traditions. I visited Naro in the Upper West region where such widows, tagged as witches, live. However, one woman has gathered these widows and is equipping them with employable skills to earn a living. As fate would have it, they lost their husbands and are now widows. Unfortunately, in some cultural settings, women who lose their husbands are often tagged witches. They are sometimes humiliated, rejected, and live in abject poverty. This treatment does not only affect the widows, but extends to their children. This is Naro in the Upper West region. Like other communities, there are widows here. The journey from the Upper West region to Naro is about 40 minutes. The settlements here are dotted haphazardly. On a stroll through the town, I met this 55-year-old woman, Madam Amina Yusif, who has been empowering some widows in the town. She does this by training them to enable them to earn a living. So far, she has over 300 widows under her tutelage. The widows learn how to make soap and cocoa butter pomade with shea butter as the main ingredient. Madam Amina has lived in Wa for the past 40 years. After completing her middle school Form 4 education, she couldn't further her schooling. So, Amina ended up making soap to sell before venturing into the shea business. The proceeds from her business is used to cater for the 300 widows she has brought together. This is how her journey with the widows began.
There was a time I was going to a community. I saw a woman who is pregnant and still carrying a baby at her back. And the woman was walking. The car that was blowing horn on her, but she couldn't hear it, so we stopped. And I asked her, "Do you want to kill yourself?" And then she told me that her husband is dead, and they say she's the one, she killed the husband. So she is going to her father's community. So we picked the woman. According to what she was narrating to me, it touches my heart, and I decided to devote my life to that.
Without any external source of funding, Amina has fed and clothed these widows for over 4 years now. She tells me the gesture is to give them hope that all is not lost after losing their husbands.
When I met the lady and then she narrated a story, I came to this community and then I called them, I talked to them, to their understanding. So I tell them that we have to come together. If we are one-on-one, we can't get anything, so they should let us come together. Since then, I have been coming here every 2 weeks. I will come here and then we have a meeting every 2 weeks. When I go to any place and get some old clothes and all those things, I bring it to them. So I told her that then we have to start with, since we have shea nuts here, and we pick them, you don't have money, but when you pick the shea nuts, let's process it into butter.
In training the widows, Amina Yusif uses raw material like shea butter, which is readily available in the community. Shea butter has been a preserve of the people in the 3 regions of the north. It employs over 600,000 people in that part of town, with majority being women, and this includes the widows at Naro. Amina Yusif explains the shea processing task.
Starting to do shea butter, we spread tapoli on the ground and then we sort out, we pick them, remove some of the bags that couldn't remove from the nuts. So after that, we don't have crusher here. So we come together like 2, 3, then we find where there's a big mortar and we start pounding it. After pounding, we roast it. The roasting, the firewood that we have, we don't use more firewood, we use the share nuts. They had this thing that we are cracked. We add to the firewood and then it helps as fuel. So after roasting, we go back to the pounding this thing again. We put it in the mortar and then we pound it to it will come like porridge. Then we start grinding it on the stone.
Amina Yusif is married with 3 children. She has been in the share business for 30 years. She tells me the training is easier because the share nut is readily available. The age range of the widows is between 45 and over 70 years. They pick the raw share and process it for some badly needed cash.
Auntie, welcome.
Madam Cecilia Asombawiera is 62 years old with 6 children. She lost her husband 20 years ago.
I am a widow and have been neglected. I resorted to farming and processing of share to earn a living. We need assistance to produce more.
A widow, Sophia Namale, once lived in Kumasi with her husband. She was moved to the Upper West region by her husband's brother, where she later joined Amina Yakubu.
After her husband's death, life has been tough. There are no machines to crush the nut to produce more. We need help.
Clementia Tabiana is 70 years old with 6 children. She told me it has not been easy taking care of the children after her husband's death.
I don't have money to eat after the passing of my husband. The share business is seasonal, and when it is out of season, I rely on wood cutting for sale.
These widows say meeting Amina Yakubu has empowered them and is also a blessing.
We don't have machines to process the share, and the process are not enough to cater for the family. We hope to get assistance.
Lack of equipment to process the share, markets and structure to operate, access to funds to expand are some of the challenges these widows are faced with.
Because we don't have machines and those things to help us, we don't normally do it in quantities. We can process 1 bag. We use about 2 weeks to process 1 bag, and it's little by little.
Unavailability of ready markets is also a problem.
How to get market is a problem. You have to make it into balls, small balls. We send it to the market. They will come one by one. Before you finish selling it, you have spent all the money.
The Sustainable Development Goal 5 seeks to change some key challenges, including poverty, inequality, and violence against women. Amina Yakubu believes successfully achieving Goal 5 will help free women, especially those up north.
It will help us to ease our work. The work that we do, the tedious work, it will reduce it. When we have the facility like storage and shelter, when it's raining, we can go and sit there.
I was sad when it was time for me to return to my base in Accra. The sight of elderly women virtually abandoned to struggle after their husbands died, all in the name of tradition, still baffles me. But it was comforting to think about how an individual has been able to change the status quo in her own small way. This to me means, with or without millions in hand, it is possible to reach out and give to the needy. Many say working to support one another, especially the vulnerable, will help eliminate certain negative traditions like tagging women as witches after losing their husbands. All the widows at Naro are asking for is freedom and a little support to expand their share and soap-making businesses to give their families breath and hope. Beatrice Senaju, GBC News, Naro, Upper West Region. A woman is the full circle. Within her is the power to create, nurture, and transform. The above quote is by Diane Marichild, an author in the USA. We all can make a change in the lives of the needy. If you can, please do extend a helping hand. This is where we end my journey on GBC News with me, Beatrice Senaju. Enjoy the rest of the news.